Finally, one of the most important things that you need to do is to know your school policy. You need to know what is your policy, what is the policy at your school on teachers talking to the media. Do you have to get administrative approval? If they're going to video students, is there a certain media release form that you have to get signed by parents? What's the procedure? Do your administrators look at media publications and media coverage as something positive for your district and for your school? Get with your administrators, find out exactly all of those fine details before you start. And then here's some do's and some don'ts. We've talked about all of these before, but you do want to be prepared. Again, just like in your classroom, being prepared is one of the best things that you can do. Have that message, know your message, know those 2 or 3 main points that you want to get across. Practice them over and over and over till you feel confident and ready to go into that interview. Make sure that you use those ABCs. Acknowledge the question. If it's a tough question or one you're not comfortable with, then bridge back into the area that you are comfortable with. Communicate that message clearly and concisely to your audience. And remember, your audience is not that reporter. Your audience is the public. So when you speak, don't speak in jargon or for example, the TPN Teacher Network likes to use MDC and LDC. Don't speak in teacher speak. Speak in language that your average parent would be able to understand, because that's your audience. Your audience is the public, and you're just using the media to influence public opinion about education and educators. Make sure when the interview is over that you offer to stay in contact, because again, you want to become that source for that reporter of information about education. You want to become that expert opinion that he may quote in future articles or future pieces. The first step to getting positive media coverage and influence in media is getting them to come and interview you. So you can reach out to the media on your own. Find out in your area who is the education reporter for your local newspaper. Find out who covers education for your local TV station or local radio station. Make contact with them. Drop them a note. Maybe decide on something that you can do in your classroom that they might want to come out and visit. Have a politician come into your classroom and speak to your students, or have some career day in your classroom, or an artist come and visit. Somehow or another, get them on campus in your classroom to come and visit with you. Or maybe ask them, a lot of reporters would love to have a ready-made story handed to them. You can write a newspaper article complete with pictures and hand it to them. You'll be surprised how many newspapers would love to get those kinds of pieces. So you can reach out to them. Don't wait for them to reach out to you, but you take the initiative, find out who they are, and start making those contacts, because every reporter wants to have in his little black book, he wants to have those contacts that he can reach out to on a moment's notice about something that is going on in the news and is an issue in our state. Believe it or not, newspaper reporters especially have a quota of a certain number of pieces that they have to have ready to go each and every week. How many newspaper reporters wouldn't love for you to hand them a ready-made piece, completely written out, with pictures ready to go to be placed in their newspaper, maybe even with just a little editing, without them having to go and hunt and dig for that story. So take advantage of that. There are a lot of local newspapers, hometown newspapers out there that will take a story that a teacher has written and publish it as is. They are hungry for news about education. Think about those feel-good pieces that run at the end of every newscast, those 30 to 60 second clips. They're looking for those kinds of stories. Give it to them. Or that newspaper report that's in the middle of the newspaper that they want to talk about the local school and what's happening at the school. Give it to them. That's that positive news that we want to put out to the public, to tell the people what the great things are that we're doing in our classrooms each and every day. Another great way to get media coverage is for you to create your own. In the world that we live in today, the opportunities are vast. They're out there everywhere. There's Facebook, there's blogs, there's YouTube, Twitter. There are all sorts of ways for you to get your message out without having to rely on a reporter. We've talked about this before, letters to the editor and writing op-eds. All of those are mediums that are open to you. So all you need to do is step a little bit out of your comfort zone, pick one of those, and then reach out and get that message out about the great things that you as a teacher are doing every day. But make sure of this one thing. Make sure the story is not about you. Make sure the story is about the education. Make sure it's about what are you doing in your classroom that's working with students. What are those things that are happening in education that others need to know about? That's that story that's going to be picked up and noticed by others in the education field, or it's going to be noticed by parents or even legislators. They're going to notice what you're doing if you'll make the story not about you, but about the education and your students. Now it's time for you to get started. We want you to get started. We want you to investigate the process at your local school, find out who those not TV reporters, but more importantly, those newspaper reporters at your local newspaper. Find out who they are. Make those contacts and take that first step. Once you've taken that step, let us know how you're doing. Email Teresa what your plans are, or even send us your first article, or send us a copy of your first interview. You're going to be successful. But the first step is for you to just get started. Pick one. You're going to be great. You're great every day in your classroom. You stand up before students every day and deliver your message. That's all we're asking you to do. Stand up and deliver the message about the great things that are happening in classrooms all across Arkansas. You can be that messenger.